I think we're all collectively living through one of the weirdest periods in technological history because, in one hand, AI can write code, translate languages, build websites, analyze thousands of pages of information, and in some cases, outperform highly educated professionals on certain tasks. And in the other hand, it believes that an Oreo spelled backwards is still Oreo. It thinks that the word orange has 4 A's. And apparently, polar bears spend their free time doing backflips. And honestly, AI somehow is a genius and an idiot at the exact same time. And I think that's why people either massively overestimate it or massively underestimate it, because they see something incredible and think this thing knows everything. And then 30 seconds later, it says something that is so ridiculous that you question whether it should be allowed even near a calculator. But here's the thing, these mistakes are actually really useful because every bizarre answer reveals something important about how these systems work. And if you understand why AI fails sometimes, you instantly become better at using it. So today, we're looking at some of the dumbest stuff that AI has ever said. And genuinely, I won't be able to create a list with there's so much silly stuff. And we're going to laugh at them and we're going to question humanity for sure. And then we'll learn how to avoid these mistakes and the exact mistakes ourselves. So let's do it. This one is incredible. How many A's are in the word orange? None. 0. Absolutely not a 0. Not a single one. Yet AI confidently says 4. And here's the scary bit. It sounds confident, it explains itself, and it behaves like it knows. And this is probably the biggest lesson in AI. Confidence and correctness are not the same thing. AI doesn't sit there counting letters, it predicts likely text. It basically is a very sophisticated pattern engine. Most of the time, these patterns are useful. Sometimes they are spectacularly stupid. And this happens all the time. Ask AI, how many R's are there in cookie dough? Suddenly, it starts inventing letters that don't exist because it isn't seeing words the way that humans do. It is predicting the response, which means whenever you're dealing with spelling, counting, simple logic, and specific details, you always need to verify it, because the thing that can help you write a business strategy can also forget how many letters there are in orange. And this is AI in a nutshell. One of my favorite AI behaviors is what people called hallucinations, which is basically a polite way of saying it completely made something up. It does this with extraordinary confidence. And apparently, again, hippos can perform complex medical procedures if you directed it and asked it to do it. Really? I'd love to know which hospital that they're working at. And apparently, polar bears can do backflips hundreds of times if you convinced it to say that. And imagine being a wildlife photographer and you've spent 6 months in the Arctic, and then suddenly you discover that the bears are actually doing Cirque du Soleil. And then my personal favorite is the Oreo spelled backwards and is still actually Oreo, which apparently makes it a palindrome. No, it doesn't at all. And here's why this matters. Businesses do this constantly. Someone asks AI, research my market, summarize competitors, find statistics, and because the answer sounds professional, they assume that it's true. Never do this. AI can be brilliant at research, but you must verify important facts because AI is capable of mixing genuine information with complete fiction. And if you don't catch it, you can end up making decisions based on imaginary information. That's not artificial intelligence. That is artificial confidence. And this one honestly hurts my brain. 3-letter word for fire. AI answers, blaze, 5 letters, not 3. Thank you for participating. Or Italian surnames beginning with C, answers C, C, and C. Amazing. Incredible contribution. Again, why does this happen? Because humans understand meaning. AI predicts patterns. Usually those things overlap. Sometimes they don't. It's almost like having an incredibly intelligent employee who is brilliant at strategy, but occasionally forgets how many fingers that humans have. This is why I never blindly trust AI with anything requiring precision. Calculators, dates, specific references, lists, names, double checking everything. Because these mistakes are funny on YouTube, but they're less funny when they're actually inside an actual thing you send into your clients or something in your business. And I absolutely love this example. Can my PC run GTA 6? AI asks, what specs do you have? The person replies, 98, AI asks 98 what? Storage, RAM, frames per second? No. Windows 98, game over. And this again highlights another weakness. AI struggles with ambiguity. Humans use context naturally. We fill gaps, we infer meaning, and AI often can't. And that's why vague prompts will produce a vague answer. People ask, how should I market my business? What business? For who? For what objection? With what budget? AI needs context, and it needs lots of context. And this is one of the biggest upgrades that you can make as a user, is stop writing, help me, start writing, I'm a consultant serving businesses, my audience struggles with X and my objective is Y. Suddenly, the quality changes dramatically because AI is not magic. It needs direction. Some AI glitches genuinely feel like you are watching a computer have a fever dream. A person will say, I'm feeling a little bit off today. AI replies, vengeance. Sorry, what? Then it corrects itself. And I mean herbal tea. Quite a bit of a difference. Another example would be, how do you clean a rescued pigeon? AI starts to give instructions that sound like a recipe from a horror film. Again, why? Because AI is generating text probabilities. Occasionally, it takes completely bizarre turns. And the important thing here is understanding that AI is not exercising judgment. You remain responsible, always, especially around health, legal, advice, financial decisions, and technological instructions. AI can assist, but it should never replace common sense. And honestly, I don't think AI's biggest problem is hallucinations. I think it's trust, because when something sounds intelligent, we naturally assume that it is. And we've all done this. You get a beautifully written answer and it sounds professional and you nod and you paste it somewhere, done, except the statistics on it were wrong. The references don't even exist. The examples are fictional and the logic is flawed. And now you've made decisions based on bad information, and that's dangerous. But remember, this is not about suddenly coming in and just creating these references and doing it all yourself. All I'm asking you to do is just check things. That's it. Because AI is still going to change the game for you and everything that you're doing, but you need to have these skills. The best AI users don't blindly trust the outputs. They will collaborate with outputs and they will challenge them and they will verify them. And then they ask, how do you know this? What is your source? Can you prove it? What assumptions are you making? And that's an infinite mindset shift. And AI shouldn't replace thinking. It should improve thinking. And my honest opinion is the people who are getting the most value from AI are not the people with the biggest prompts. They're not the people using 50 tools. They're not necessarily the most technical. They're the people who understand where AI is brilliant and where it's ridiculous. They use it for brainstorming, for research assistance, for structuring ideas, for writing briefs, for finding blind spots, for building new technology, for writing code, but they don't outsource judgment because that's still your job. AI can give you speed, it can give you leverage, it can even make you more capable, but it cannot replace curiosity, and it definitely cannot replace common sense either, at least not while it still believes hippos perform surgery. So if you take this one thing from this video, let it be this: AI is extraordinary and occasionally spectacularly stupid. Use it, learn it, experiment with it, but don't worship it. Question it, challenge it, and verify it. Like, go all in, but still remain you. You are the biggest asset in your business, the same as I am the biggest asset in my business. It still needs your judgment, because the people who win with AI, right, over the next decade, not even that 12 months, won't be the people who trust it blindly. They'll be the people who understand exactly where it shines and exactly where it thinks that a polar bear is doing a backflip or practicing gymnastics, right? So a quick one before you click off that. Scattered AI will feel productive almost, like, doesn't it? Like, you're basically coming in and you're doing bits here and there, but it's not productive because nothing is actually building intelligence. And this is something that I call the guesswork tax. So you're basically paying for it with your own money and your time because you've got so many scattered system sheets and information that is all over the place that you've not actually got anywhere. You've got a central operating system to see a clear overview as to what's actually happening inside your company. And that's what I've built in the last 12 months. And it's called the Titan Code OS Central Operating System. And it combines every single thing that you have to do for your business with marketing, operations, acquisition, and growth. And it combines it into one centralized area where you can directly communicate with it as well. And on top of that, I provide my clients with the direct copy and paste SOPs that they need to set up their Claude projects, cowork, and code at high level so they can remove the guesswork and make all the mistakes I made in the last few years setting everything up properly. And if you want to find out more about that, there's a link in my description. If you're not subscribing, please subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.